For this video, pag-uusapan po natin ang housing loan dito sa Pilipinas. Process, requirements, what to expect before, during, and after loan application, and also kung ano po ang difference ng retail housing loan versus developer-assisted. If you are watching me for the first time, my name is Romina Babijes. I make vlogs about real estate, especially po yung mga FAQs or frequently asked questions ng mga first-time home buyers. Guys, mahaba po yung topic natin ngayon and also sobrang detailed din po ng ginawa kong vlog for today. So, hahatiin po natin siya ngayon into two parts. Part 1 is the requirements and then part 2 is the process. Before, during, and after loan application. Kapag sinabi po nating housing loan, you are now applying for a mortgage. Ibig sabihin guys, ito po yung requirements talaga ni bank and hindi po ni developer. Although some developers po will require you to submit these documents right after your reservation. Especially if maiksi lang yung down payment period nila and also kung sila po ang mag-a-apply ng housing loan nyo on your behalf. More on that later. Pero wag po kayong malilito guys kasi yung mga babanggitin ko pong requirements is for home loan purposes. Hindi po ito yung reservation requirements. Yun po yung vlog natin last time. Kung hindi nyo pa po napapanood, ilalagay ko na lang po sa description box yung link. Alright. Para mas madali po nating ma-appreciate, dinivide ko po yung requirements natin into the following categories. For the numbers 1 to 5, universal po ito for all clients, whether ikaw ay locally employed, OFW, or business owner / self-employed. For the number 6 naman po, requirement lang ito for the international clients. So, ibig sabihin mga OFWs and immigrants. Kung ikaw din po ay seafarer, considered ka din as international client. And then, for the number 7 naman po, case-to-case basis kasi ito po ay requirements lang only for those na nagkaroon ng changes sa kanilang nationality, whether sila po ngayon ay former Filipinos na or dual citizens. Just a disclaimer, ito po yung mga requirements na basic. So, depende po sa kliyente, possible na may hingin pang additional documents sa inyo si Bangko. Start po tayo sa number 1, proof of identification. Since nakapag-submit na po kayo ng 2 valid IDs during reservation pa lang, kapag malapit na po kayong mag-apply for a housing loan, we just need to make sure po na updated pa din yung mga pinasa nating valid IDs. If expired na, kailangan lang po nating palitan. Magpo-provide lang po ulit tayo ng another valid IDs. So, for the birth certificate naman, guys, there are 2 ways to get this if wala ka pang copy ng latest birth certificate nyo, yung PSA copy po. You can go directly to the PSA if kaya nyong maglaan ng oras. But if medyo busy tayo, if hindi kaya ng schedule nyo pumila sa PSA, you can order this online through the psahelpline.ph. I-deliver nila yon directly sa address na ilalagay nyo. For OFW clients, kailangan nyo pong mag-send ng authorization letter doon sa kung sino po yung magre-receive ng birth certificate natin. Kasi medyo mahigpit po si PSA. Kung wala po tayong authorization letter, hindi po nila itutuloy yung delivery. Ang cost ng birth certificate ngayon, if hindi pa nila pinapalitan, is 360 pesos. So, mabilis lang po tayo sa proof of identification. Next naman po ay proof of civil status. For buyers po na single ang civil status, you need to submit a CENOMAR or Certificate of No Marriage. As proof po ito na never ka pa talagang kinasal and or walang record si PSA na ikaw ay legally married. Saan kinukuha to? Kay PSA din po. So, kung o-order ka po ng birth certificate, I would suggest isabay mo na po si CENOMAR para isang delivery na lang po. Also, again, para po sa mga wala dito sa Philippines, huwag nyo pong kakalimutan yung authorization letter ni receiver. For buyers naman po na legally married, of course, you have to submit your marriage certificate. And then for the buyers naman po na wala na si spouse, you have to provide lang po yung death certificate ni deceased wife or deceased husband. For buyers naman na legally separated, meron akong client before na kinasal siya sa foreigner and then nag-file sila ng divorce. Kailangan nyo lang pong i-provide yung court finality. Medyo tricky lang po itong divorce sa mga Filipinos na married din sa fellow Filipinos nila. Tapos sa ibang bansa sila nag-file ng divorce kasi wala naman po tayong divorce dito sa Philippines. So kung ganito po ang situation nyo, abangan nyo po yung next vlog ko. I-discuss ko po lahat yan. Magbibigay din po ako ng tips doon kung paano po masakay bangko. Anyway, for our next requirement naman po, it's the proof of billing address. If meron ka pong latest utility bill under your name, mas maganda. Any bill na nagre-reflect po ng address mo tsaka pangalan mo as the buyer. So pwede yung Meralco bill, water bill, internet, home credit, insurance, cable, credit card, so on and so forth. Basta po bill, hindi resibo from Lazada or Shopee. Ano ba yung purpose ni proof of billing? During evaluation, some banks kasi, pumupunta po talaga sila sa address na pre-provide natin for CI. Kaso what if hindi ikaw nagre-rent, but at the same time, hindi rin sa'yo nakapangalan yung bahay? So ano po yung proof of billing na pwede nating i-provide? Same lang po ng requirements na pinasa nung mga nagre-rent. Except this time, instead of leasing contract, ang ipapasa po natin is authorization letter from the owner of the latest utility bill na pinasa natin. Halimbawa, nakikita na ka kay ate. So, kung ano po yung latest utility bill ni ate, for example, water bill. Pipicturean nyo lang po yun, tapos yung valid ID ni ate, and at the same time, yung authorization letter niya. Kung sino po ang nakapangalan sa latest utility bill, siya po ang gagawa ng letter. Simple letter would do, hindi naman po kailangan komplikado. I am confirming that Juan de la Cruz is my son and I'm authorizing him to use my proof of billing for home loan purposes only. As simple as that, hindi naman po kailangan complicated. Kung tayo po ay nakatira sa ibang bansa, ang kailangan pong mag-provide ng proof of billing is si AIF. AIF is short for attorney in fact. Don't worry, hindi niyo po kailangan mag-hire ng actual attorney. Ang ibig lang pong sabihin ng AIF is siya po yung authorized or official representative nyo dito sa Pilipinas. Legal term lang po si AIF. Some people call them SPA, although mali po yun. For clarification and dagdag knowledge, ang ibig pong sabihin ng SPA is Special Power of Attorney. Ito po yung dokumento or document na nagpapatunay na si ganitong tao ay siya talaga yung representative ko. Wala na akong ibang representative. Kung sino po yung pangalan na nasa SPA, siya lang ang pwedeng makipagtransact on my behalf. So wag po kayong malilito. SPA po is yung papel, yung document. AIF po is yung tao, si representative mismo. Anyway, ang reason po kaya si AIF ang dapat mag-submit ng proof of billing is because evidence kasi yun guys na si representative po ay dito talaga sa Pilipinas nakatira. And also, siya po ang pupuntahan ng bangko for CI. Ang next proof naman po natin ay proof of income. Ito guys, medyo madami, so bear with me. Madami po kasi tayong types of employment dito sa Philippines. So, for the locally employed, ito po yung mga kailangan nating isubmit. Number 1 is Certificate of Employment or job contract. Either of the two, basta nagre-reflect po yung tatlo. Compensation, company position, and then last is tenure or hiring date, kung gano'n na po kayo katagal sa company. Second is payslips. Latest 3 months po ang kailangan natin isubmit, hindi po latest 3 cut-offs. Months po. So kung January ngayon, ang ipoprovide nyo po na payslips ay October, November, and December last year. Next naman po after payslips is payroll bank statements. Hindi po ito yung payslips. Ito po yung statement of account kung saang bank pumapasok yung salary nyo. Kung cash basis po yung salary natin, kailangan nyo pong mag-open ng bank account and ipasok po doon yung monthly income nyo. Para may paper trail tayo. Medyo mahirap po kasi sa part ni bank na mag-approve ng loan kung wala po siyang proof na yung dineclare nating salary is nakukuha nyo talaga. Sa bank statement naman guys, hindi naman po importante kung magkano yung laman. Ang tinitignan po kasi ni bank doon is yung cash flow natin every month. Meron pong mga banks na nagpo-provide ng online bank statements like BPI tsaka si Union Bank. Dina-download lang. Some banks naman po, kailangan mo talagang puntahan sa branch to request a copy. Guys, bank statements po ha, hindi po bank certificate. Kung meron naman po kayong passbook, that would do. Pwede na rin po yun. Last naman po for the locally employed is the latest ITR. Latest year. So for example, 2024 ngayon. So yung latest ITR po natin is for year 2023. Saan naman po kinukuha ang latest ITR? Nire-request lang po siya sa HR or sa company niya. Sila po ang magpo-provide sa inyo. Tapos na tayo sa locally employed. For the OFWs naman po guys, parehas lang. COE or job contract, payslips or salary certificate. Meron po kasi mga countries like sa Middle East, usually, hindi sila nagbibigay ng payslips. So, okay na po yung salary certificate, salary vouchers, pwede din yon. Yung bank statements din po, payroll bank statements or passbook. Ang difference nyo lang po with the locally employed is hindi nyo po kailangan mag-submit ng latest ITR since hindi naman po kayo dito sa Pilipinas nagbabayad ng income tax. Ang isasubmit nyo po instead of latest ITR is proof of remittances na lang. Ito guys, some banks hindi naman hinahanap to, but just to be sure, i-ready na din po natin para pag hinanap, meron po tayong mapoprovide. Any proof po na nagpapadala kayo sa Philippines. It doesn't matter kung kanino, pero much better din po kay bank if doon kayo sa AIF nagpapadala ng pera. If hindi naman, okay lang din. Basta may proof of remittances tayo. Kahit isang remittance lang per month. Regardless of the amount, hindi po tinitignan ni bank kung magkano yung pinapadala natin sa Pilipinas. Ang importante lang po sa kanila is makita nila nagpapadala kayo sa Philippines. Kung hindi naman po kayo nagre-remittance center, pero nagpapadala kayo ng pera sa Pilipinas via online transfer or GCash or Paymaya, okay na din po yun. Screenshot na lang po natin or email receipt ng transaction. For the business owners naman, ideally, yung business natin is at least 3 years old na po si business by the time na mag-a-apply tayo for a housing loan. So, ito po yung mga kailangan nating isubmit. Basically, guys, we just need to prove po kay bank na profitable talaga yung business natin. Na kapag in-approve nila yung loan nyo, meron talaga kayong financial capacity na magbayad sa kanila every month. Last naman is yung mga freelancers natin or independent contractors. Ito medyo madami kasi yung nagtatanong, so sinama ko na din po. Sino po yung pasok sa category na to? Virtual assistants, sales agent, personal secretaries, personal assistants, event planners, web provider, web designer, programmers, consultant photographers, videographers, professional drivers, etc. Basically, sila po yung mga hindi officially employed. Possible, ina-outsource sila ng mga companies. Nakikipag-tie up sila sa mga brands here and there. Pero, wala po sila ng standard benefits like what a regular employee would have. PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, SSS. So, hindi sila empleyado but at the same time, hindi rin po sila self-employed kasi wala naman po silang sariling business or sariling company and wala rin silang pinapasweldong mga tao under them. So, for the independent contractors, ito po yung mga requirements na kailangan nating isubmit for the housing loan. If mapapansin nyo, mas matagal na ang period ng bank statements and statement of earnings na kailangan nating isubmit. Hindi na siya 3 months lang. Bakit ganito? Kasi po, unlike regular employees na merong fixed salary, tayo po kailangan pa nating i-justify kay bank na stable talaga yung income natin every month. Hindi yung last month, 20k lang yung salary ko, tapos this month, 200,000, pero next month, 10k lang ulit. So, parang fluctuating yung salary natin kapag ganito. As many supporting documents po na kaya mong isubmit kay banko to prove your financial capability, mas maganda. So, that's it for our proof of income. Next na po tayo agad para mabilis. Duly signed documents from the developer. Ang maganda po kasi kapag developer-assisted ang company is, yung ibang document po na requirement ni bank kay developer po, hindi buyer. Yung mga documents na yun, hindi na natin siya kailangang i-request kay developer. Kasi sila na po mismo yung magsasubmit nun kay banko. So, hindi mo na kailangan magpabalik-balik between kay bank and kay developer for those legal documents. Since meron na po silang internal agreement na silang dalawa na lang po yung mag-uusap. Kung baga si client po is makakapag-focus talaga na ang mga ipapasa niya lang is yung mga requirements na galing sa side niya as the buyer. Bale, yung kailangan na lang po nating i-provide is yung duly signed na contract to sell or CTS po na tinatawag natin. Kay developer po manggagaling yung document, kailangan lang po natin siyang fill upan and pirmahan. On my next vlog, i-discuss po natin lahat ng real estate documents na kailangan nating malaman. Next requirement naman po ay Special Power of Attorney or SPA. Again, para lang po ito sa mga client na nasa ibang bansa. So, kung hindi ka po OFW or hindi ka po seafarer, you can skip to the next part. Nasa description box po yung timeline. Click nyo na lang doon. Ang SPA po is si developer dapat ang magpo-provide nito sa inyo. hindi po kayo as the buyer. I understand marami pong template ng SPA online, pero hindi po yun yung gagamitin natin. Especially if developer assisted po ang company, sa kanila po dapat manggaling yung SPA na gagamitin natin. Ang purpose po ni SPA is to officialize yung authorized representative nyo dito sa Pilipinas to sign on your behalf. In a way guys, SPA serves as your protection kasi wala pong ibang pwedeng makipag-transact on your behalf or pwedeng pumirma on your behalf, si representative lang talaga. Kasi siya lang po yung nakalagay sa SPA natin. So ano po yung process sa pag-submit natin ng SPA? Option number 1 is consularize. During your down payment period, guys, you have to schedule po an appointment with the Philippine Embassy para magpa-consularize ng SPA. Or, in layman's term, magpa-red ribbon. Uso pa ba yung word na yun? Magpapa-red ribbon po kayo ng SPA. So, ang gagawin nyo po is ipiprint nyo po yung template ng SPA na binigay ni developer and then double-check with your agent kung ano pa yung mga requirements nila for the SPA kasi baka mamaya blue ball pen yung ginamit mo tas black ink lang pala yung allowed. And also, pag nag-print po kayo ng SPA, kasi meron akong experience before, yung client ko, 2 pages yung SPA ni developer tapos ang ginawa niya is back-to-back yung print sa papel. So, hindi po pwede yun and pinaulit siya sa process. So, sayang naman yung time and yung money na ginamit niya. Kung 2 pages po, kung ilang pages po yung SPA ni developer, print that na magkakahiwalay yung papel. Tapos, dalhin nyo siya sa embassy, saka nyo siya ipa-consularize ng magkakasama. Ask for clear instructions, especially yung about sa kung ilang copies po na original consularize yung kailangan nila. Kasi baka mamaya po, 10 original pala yung kailangan ni bangko and na developer, pero isa lang yung ginawa mo, tapos nagpa-photocopy ka lang ng 9 times. Hindi po pwede yun, guys. So, ask for clear instructions before kayo magpa-consularize ng SPA. Option number 2 is apostille. Kung wala pong nearest embassy sa area nyo, for example, nasa USA ka, tapos yung pinakamalapit na Philippine consulate is nasa ibang state pa, kunwari 5 hours drive pa, 10 hours kung balikan, we can request po kay developer na baka pwedeng ipa-apostille nyo na lang yung SPA instead of red ribbon. Para less hassle na po on your part and also mas mura din compared kay consularized. Yung last option natin guys, kung at any time po during your down payment period is uuwi kayo dito sa Philippines para magbakasyon or anything, kunwari attend kayo ng kasal, pwede din pong dito na lang kayo sa Pilipinas magpa-notaryo ng SPA. Ulitin ko po, kung uuwi lang kayo dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi hindi po pwedeng magpa-notaryo tayo dito sa Philippines tapos nasa ibang bansa kayo. Ayan po yung mga options natin for the SPA, consularized, apostilled, or notarized. Alright, last requirement naman po tayo for the part 1, proof of nationality. Kung tayo po ay naturalized citizen, ibig sabihin tayo po ay natural-born Filipino and nag-acquire po tayo ng bagong citizenship in another country, ito po yung mga kailangan nating ipasa. Oath of allegiance for the dual citizens and certificate of naturalization for former Filipinos. Sa mga nagtatanong, pwede pa rin po ba akong kumuha ng property kahit hindi na ako Filipino ngayon? Yes po, pwedeng-pwede. How about, pwede pa ba akong mag-loan, mag-apply ng housing loan kahit hindi na ako Filipino? Yes po, pwede pa rin. For dual citizens, wala pang magbabago sa treatment and sa process nyo as to any Filipino buyers na nag-a-apply din po ng housing loan. Same lang po. Pero for those po na former Filipinos na ibig sabihin nagpalit na talaga sila ng citizenship, just know po na meron lang tayong mga specific bank sa Pilipinas na nag-grant po ng housing loan sa mga former Filipinos. Some of those banks are RCBC, BDO, and if I'm not mistaken, pati ata si Union Bank. Ang maganda naman po sa atin guys is yung mga nabanggit ko pong banks kanina, accredited po natin yung lahat dito kay Vistaland. And also, case-to-case basis po lagi ang approval ni bank. Depende po sa situation ni buyer, additional documents may be requested from you. For example, you have other existing loans, the banks may request your latest statement of account to check kung magkano na lang yung balance mo doon. And also, kung tapos na yung loan mo, mo, possible kang hingan, no, not possible, hihingan ka nila ng Certificate of Clearance as proof na wala ka ng outstanding loan. Na-mention ko na to before, but it's worth repeating. Dito po kay Vistaland, we offer developer-assisted loans. So, ibig sabihin, kami po ang mag-a-apply ng housing loan mo for you. One last thing before we go to part 2, if you are new to the industry or first time nyo pong mag-a-apply ng housing loan, I want you to remember, there's no such thing as 100% guarantee na ma-approve kayo kay bank. In any investment, guys, kapag may nangako po sa inyo ng 100% anything, 100% profits, 100% ganito ganyan, take their advice with a grain of salt. Mas maganda pa din po kasi na as the buyers, we do our research so we can make well-informed decisions. Okay, part 2 naman tayo. Process ng housing loan. Since masyado na pong mahaba yung vlog natin, bibilisan ko na, but I'll try to make it as detailed pa din as possible. So, ano yung standard process po for housing loan? Number 1 is